2023, Philadelphia is ranking as one of the worst cities to drive in the U.S.
It's pretty lawless.
Safety, traffic, and infrastructure.
Oh, the road conditions, yeah, they are kind of poor.
In general.
All factor into the quality of life for drivers from near and far.
Well,
We found it a challenge.
we found it really a challenge, yeah.
But there's an ongoing commitment
Because this is a racial justice issue as much as it is a safety issue.
to ensure driving in Pennsylvania's largest city becomes safer.
Nothing should surprise you. Like King Kong could come from the west, you know, Godzilla from the east.
But what might surprise you? The innovation happening right here in the city of brotherly love. Hello and welcome to Fox 29 Presents The Streets of Philly. I'm Jennifer Lee. We've all encountered aggressive driving on the road, but is there a psychological tie to this behavior? Do we treat each other differently face to face than we do sitting side by side in our vehicles? For our first segment, we seek the expert opinion of a behavioral health specialist.
A lot of people view their cars as an extension of themselves.
We all have personal space around us, and Dr. Yvette Chalene, a professor of psychiatry and behavioral research at Penn, says when we get into the driver's seat, we imagine those same lines around our vehicles.
When people talk about road rage or impolite behavior, which I think happens all over the place in every city, it's really in response to that sense of being intruded upon.
In Philadelphia, state police say there have been about 40 reported road rage-related shootings since 2020, with 8 people struck by gunfire.
Right now, it's like everything that goes on, you have to worry about it.
In August, police say road rage sparked a deadly double shooting across the street from Independence Mall.
The road rage is crazy. You don't really want to blow out nobody no more. Let them, if they cut you off, go ahead, you got it. You in front of me already, go ahead. That's it.
Dr. Chalene says during and after the pandemic, there was a 20% rise in people seeking help for anxiety.
So I think that plays into how they drive as well, that they are just that much more trigger happy or sensitive to maybe having a slight, if you think of somebody cutting you off as being a slight.
Philadelphia also saw a spike in the number of deadly crashes after the pandemic, nearly 85 in 2019 to more than 150 lives lost in 2020.
During COVID and after COVID, people seem to go a little crazy, especially the way they drove, or the way they drive around our streets at speeds that are ridiculous and that maneuvers that are dangerous.
While fatal crash numbers are going down, they're still not back to pre-pandemic levels.
Well, people are just angry these days, so it's just like it's a little aggressive on the road sometimes.
Dr. Chalene says we can all learn to deal with our personal stress better. She says consider relaxation techniques, breathing exercises, and practice mindfulness. They've all been shown to have huge health benefits and will help us be nicer to those around us.
Being cognizant that, oh, somebody cut me off, I need to be aware that I don't have to respond in a negative way. That is something they did to me, but I don't have to respond back.
It takes patience.
I'm a certified driving instructor.
No different?
Yeah. And experience.
Aim high, get the big picture, make sure they see you, leave yourself an out, and always keep your eyes moving.
That is beautiful.
To train up new drivers in a city like Philadelphia.
Good, and then turn that off. And then your wiper should be right here.
Okay, great. How would you describe the driving culture of Philadelphia?
Nothing should surprise you. Like King Kong could come from the west, you know, Godzilla from the east, and you should just swerve around their big feet and just get out of the way.
I'll get the air conditioning going.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Ken Pupo of the Philadelphia Professional Driving School found his calling in a newspaper ad.
So, I mean, I applied to an ad in the Philadelphia Inquirer over 20 years ago. And it was a favorable interview, and one thing led to the next, and that's how I started in the industry.
The driving school in East Passyunk has a long list of clients, including first-time drivers, seniors who need a refresher, and new transplants trying to get up to speed with Philadelphia drivers who Pupo calls aggressive.
I actually think driving is an extension of our personalities.
We are at a driving school after all, so I want to ask you to grade the driving here in the city of Philadelphia.
I would say C+. Yeah, so, I mean, folks know how to drive, but sometimes they startle folks who have less experience.
Getting onto Lincoln Drive from the highway was pretty scary.
So it's a push button.
That's Melissa Kosmicki. She's an avid cyclist who hopes to get her driver's license for the first time.
I want to be more independent because I'm obsessed with horses now, and they tend to be a little far away, so I don't want to have to rely on other people for rides.
It's been over a month since she started driving school with Pupo.
Yes, it's so fun, especially when I can talk to this guy.
Understandably, the lessons on the road are still a work in progress.
I think actually I fail to understand sometimes that going faster is safer than going slower. There's a lot to look at in a short amount of time when you're getting off the highway there. And some people have muscle memory going, and so they zip, zip, zip around Kelly Drive, Lincoln Drive. Woo!
Pupo says his goal as an instructor is to teach the fundamentals of driving to promote safety and avoid accidents.
And there's way more cars on the road than when I first started. That has been, you know, a scary thing.
Looking back on the last 2 decades, Pupo says he's grateful people have trusted him on their driving journey.
Thank you to all the friends and family over the years who have used our services because it's been a good ride.
Philadelphia's reputation from a driver's point of view can be far from flattering.
I think the potholes are worse than the people.
International tourists.
Oh, the road conditions are not good in general.
And visitors from across state lines.
Besides the traffic, pothole city.
All say riding through Philadelphia can be rough.
I got a new tire, I want to say every other week for like the last 2 months.
Are you kidding me?
Not at all.
Richard Montanez says the feedback isn't ideal, but necessary to hear for the streets department.
It's not the way we want Philadelphia to be perceived.
We asked the deputy commissioner to grade Philadelphia's road conditions, A being the best and F being the worst.
I actually probably would give us a C. You know, it is challenging to make 2,500 miles of road. It is a daunting task.
The Streets Department reports it should be paving 130 to 150 miles of roadway annually to establish a state of good repair. But the department is scaling it back to 60 miles a year, a fraction of the work needed due to costs and manpower.
Most people don't know it costs $1 million a mile to pave in Philadelphia. And it's not because of the paving, it's actually because of the ADA ramps.
And you're saying that's expensive?
So that's 70% of our paving budget.
How many people do you guys have on staff to fix roads, do repairs on potholes?
So I'm going to say not enough. There's currently 250 vacancies.
250?
Yeah. So we're actually slated to have about 700 people there. So, you know, we're actively hiring. We're trying to get people to work for the city, come help us repair the city. But yeah, we're doing the best we can with the limited resources we have.
So far this year, Montanez says 50,000 potholes have been repaired, costing about $3.75 million.
The most interesting part of society nowadays is they're more willing to put it on Facebook and Twitter rather than tell me that there's a problem by calling 311.
Deputy Commissioner Montanez says if you see a road that needs love, report it on the 311 app. And maybe consider joining the fleet. The Streets Department is actively hiring.
Help us fix the problems. Don't just complain about it, be part of the solution.
Cobbs Creek Parkway has long been considered dangerous.
Unnecessary speeding, reckless driving, and reckless driving created safety hazards in neighborhoods, making it a life or death choice just to cross the street to visit the park.
Philadelphia's Vision Zero program says it's on the high injury network, which are 12% of Philadelphia streets, where 80% of traffic deaths and serious injuries occur.
Historically, the most dangerous roads tend to be those in working class Black and brown neighborhoods like this one. That means more traffic deaths and injuries, as well as less welcoming communities overall.
Mike Carroll of the Office of Transportation, Infrastructure and Sustainability says in 2021, PennDOT responded by installing safety features to slow down drivers.
This was the first road, the state road, where PennDOT took the time and looked at what was going on and made the stride in order to accomplish traffic calming on a state highway.
Vision Zero was established in 2016 to reach an ambitious goal in Philadelphia by 2030.
It's a goal of getting to 0 traffic deaths on our city streets.
2030?
Yes.
Is that realistic?
We do think 2030 is a reasonable goal, right? We think that with the right amount of investment, when we're pulling in, $200 million in the last just 12 months, that's the kind of investment that if we can keep building on that, we can get to 0 deaths.
Program manager Marco Guarini says the strategy is to tackle traffic safety from multiple angles, working closely with partners such as the Health Department, Police Department, School District, and Streets Department.
We have installed speed cushions at 50 schools based on crash data. We are also advancing slow zones at Willard Elementary, Trent Elementary, Overbrook Educational Center, with many more coming soon.
On Roosevelt Boulevard, Guarini says speeding violations dropped by 95% after a state pilot program added speed safety cameras in 2020.
We've seen a 50% drop in pedestrian crashes, and we've seen similarly large drops in fatal and serious injury crashes across any mode.
Crashes are also down after 35 complete street projects installed designs to slow drivers and make space for pedestrians and people on bikes.
Looking back to about 2016, 2017, we saw a 34% decrease in fatal and serious injury crashes occurring on the corridors that had received these treatments, comparing that to corridors that hadn't.
Cyclist Andrew Jarrah commutes from Queen Village to West Philly and says striping is better, but he hopes enforcement will follow.
I think the biggest challenge is still that there's a lot of parking that happens in the bike lane. And so as a cyclist, you're constantly veering in and out of the driving lane.
Currently, about 100 to 120 people are killed in a crash every year in Philadelphia.
These aren't just numbers, they're not just statistics. These are our friends, families, co-workers, our neighbors.
To accomplish the Vision Zero goal in 7 years, Carroll says the city is in many ways going back to the future.
Making streets that operate well for pedestrians, folks who are using their bodies to power their motion. That is the historic Philadelphia. That's what Philadelphia was founded on. That's why it's shaped the way it is. That's why it's dense in the middle. And that's kind of what we're getting back to.
It looks like the sky is the limit for the future of driving. But before we see flying cars, the likely next step in driving innovation is racing ahead in Philadelphia at Pennovation Works in Grays Ferry.
3, 2, 1.
This is the autonomous electric vehicle that has been built completely by the students at the University of Pennsylvania.
Traditional go-kart that you see in any racing competitions where you could manually control it using the steering wheel. We modified it completely to make it more electronic and autonomous.
before students at Penn Engineering can progress to this stage.
Let's go for it.
Professor Rahul Mangaram says they start with the F-110th vehicle platform. It's small and looks like a remote race car, but considered the building blocks for a self-driving car.
We call it 1/10 because it's this 1/10 the scale, but it's 10 times the fun because students can actually learn to drive and race these and often crash these systems.
Just like its bigger counterpart, the 1/10th vehicle has a supercomputer, many sensors, and light detection and ranging, or LiDAR technology, sending out laser beams that bounce back and build a map of the vehicle's surroundings.
How we use it in self-driving is very simple, that we project beams all across, and whenever these beams reflect back to us, for example, there is an obstacle right there, right? We'll detect it here, and basically we'll plan a path around that obstacle.
Professor Mangaram says the 1/10th size lends itself to being low risk and potentially high reward, encouraging students around the world to race to the limits in autonomous racing competitions.
This platform started at Penn and now has expanded to over 80 different universities across the world. We have competitions with over 150 people coming in every time and racing, all based on the same platform, but they have different softwares. And our goal is to see, can you build the superhuman capability? And the challenge is, can you be the best self-driving vehicle engineer?
But Helen Loeb says any innovation is meaningless without a human-centered design.
This is why I do what I do, because I want to make the road safer for everybody.
Mangaram partners with Loeb, who researches driving safety at CHOP and leads a startup called Jitzik, a hyper-realistic driving simulator.
You have a Tesla or you have whatever autonomous car, and nobody tells you how to use it. So we want to be able to train people in a safe way, so it's stationary.
The goal is to bring driver education to people's homes and build trust in autonomous technology. Already, many of the new cars on the market feature smart driver assistance tools that take control of the wheel as needed.
The autonomous driving capability that we are enabling in these vehicles acts as a guardian angel. So if at any point in time they have a lapse in their cognitive capability and become slightly unsafe, the autonomous driving capability that we are building into these vehicles will act as guardrails or even have an intervention to take over and ensure that these drivers are safe.
With the help of Jitzik software engineer Jaime Corona, I was put in the driver's seat of the simulator.
I feel like I'm in driver's ed again.
The mixed reality headset makes the experience immersive.
And if you want to turn your head backwards to see the rear of the car also.
I guess I should be driving on the right side of the road, ideally.
And sensors on the silver Prius are also portable and can be used from car to car.
Very realistic, the steering wheel, the acceleration, the brakes. But I think because it was my first time, I'm really glad I was the only one on the road for that simulation. So yeah, very, very cool.
Back at Pennovation, dual master's student Derek Zhao suspects it could take another 50 years before society transitions to fully self-driving cars.
People will relax and enjoy, just like right now in San Francisco, we have the Waymo cars and cruise cars, and just enjoy in your backseat and let the car drive.
Currently, there are no fully autonomous vehicles for sale, but after seeing the competitive Drive for Innovation at Penn, it may only be a few more stops ahead. Flying cars hopefully follows.
We have collaborations with over 70 companies worldwide, and over 44 universities are using the technology that we have started here at the University of Pennsylvania.
That does it for Fox 29 Presents The Streets of Philly. I'm always eager to hear from you about interesting stories in the community. If you have any ideas or suggestions, please reach out to me on my social media pages. Thank you and drive safe.